Okay, let's dive right in. In the world of Nepali politics right now, you've got two names that are just everywhere, Balan Shah and Rabi Lamichhane. They're the faces of a brand new political era, and their relationship, their alliance, is exactly what we're breaking down in this explainer. It's a partnership that is literally shaping the future of the nation as we speak. And that brings us to the big question, right? The one everyone's asking. Are these two powerful men competitors, just rivals destined to clash for the top job? Or are they complements? Kind of like two sides of the same coin, where their different strengths actually make the whole thing work. This is the core dynamic we're going to get into.
Now, just look at this for a second, because what's so fascinating is how starkly different they are. On one hand, you've got Balan Shah, the introvert, laser-focused on action and getting things done, a guy who prefers to work solo. Then on the other, you have Rabi Lamichhane, a total extrovert, a natural people person, an organizer who thrives in a group. These polar opposite personalities are what make their alliance so unusual, and maybe, just maybe, so incredibly effective.
So you have these two figures who seem like they should be oil and water. But as we're about to see, the reality is that their futures, and by extension the country's future, are now completely and totally intertwined.
And listen, that is not an exaggeration. The source material is crystal clear on this. The fate of the entire government, the direction of their party, and you could argue the future of the whole country. All of it hinges on how well Balan and Rabi manage this partnership. The stakes just could not be higher.
So the big question is, how on earth did we even get here? How did this unlikely pair end up holding all the cards? Well, as the sources show us, this alliance wasn't some grand strategy planned out in a boardroom. Nope, it was forged in the fire of a national crisis. It all goes back to what people now call the Bidao 24 incident. I mean, picture this. Over a completely chaotic two-day stretch, the government just collapses, leaving this massive power vacuum. In the chaos, there's a huge public call for Balan Shah to step up and be prime minister. But he says no. He wanted to be an elected leader, not just an interim one. So with Balan taking a step back, all eyes suddenly turned to Rabi Lamichhane, who at that exact moment was literally sitting in a jail cell. And this is where the story gets really juicy. With the country in a tailspin, the first moves to create this game-changing alliance didn't happen in press conferences or on TV. It all happened behind the scenes, away from the public eye.
And the architect of this whole deal was one man, Kumar Ben. You have to understand, he isn't just Balan's chief political advisor, he's been a mentor to him since he was just a kid, like 12 years old. And his style? He's known for being incredibly direct. No fluff, no nonsense, he just gets straight to the point.
So, Kumar Ben goes directly to Nakhu jail to meet Rabi. And true to his reputation, he lays it all on the table. The proposal was simple and incredibly bold. Let's join forces. You are the undisputed party chairman. You run the whole organization. But let's put Balan forward as our candidate for prime minister. His logic was just undeniable. If they fought each other, the old establishment would cruise to victory. But together, they could change everything.
But Rabi didn't just jump at the offer. I mean, think about it. He built this party from the ground up, and now he was being asked to hand over the top job, the prime ministership. So he hesitated. He told Kumar Ben to go talk to his deputies instead. And for a second there, it was a move that nearly killed the entire negotiation before it even got off the ground. But Kumar Ben's bold play didn't fail. In fact, it did the opposite. It set the stage for a single, make-or-break meeting that would go on to define the entire course of modern Nepali politics. They all met at Asim Shah's residence for what turned into a marathon negotiation. And get this, it lasted for 7 full hours. This was not a casual chat over tea. This was where the entire future of their movement and the government was going to be decided. And out of that 7-hour pressure cooker came a historic 7-point agreement. But the key takeaway, the two most important terms, were crystal clear. Balan Shah would be the prime minister for a full 5-year term, and Rabi Lamichhane would be the undisputed chairman of the party. The power was officially divided.
And here's this little detail that just says everything. They arrived at that meeting in separate cars, as two individual leaders. But when it was all said and done, they left together in the same car. It was such a powerful, deliberate message to the world. From now on, we're on the same road, heading in the same direction.
Okay, so that's the origin story. But what about today? You know, the media is constantly speculating about friction and rivalry. So let's take a look at what the source material actually reveals about how their working relationship is really doing. This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? When you have two ambitious leaders at the top, is there tension bubbling just beneath the surface?
Well, despite all the rumors, the evidence we have points to the exact opposite. These two are in constant contact. We're talking 2 to 3 phone calls a day and meeting up in person every couple of days. There's a deep mutual respect there. In fact, Ballin, the prime minister, often goes over to Robbie's home to meet, sometimes just showing up unannounced. That signals a relationship that is way more collaborative and a lot less formal than most people think.
And the secret sauce, the foundation of this harmony, is this very clear division of labor they agreed on from the very beginning. Ballin runs the government, Rabi runs the party and all the parliamentary business. There are no blurred lines. Each guy has total authority in his own area, and they do not interfere with each other. And here is a perfect example of this in action. When it was time to form the cabinet, Robbie had his own list of people he recommended for minister roles, but Balin had other ideas. So instead of fighting it, Robbie deferred to Balin's choices, honoring their agreement that Balin is in charge of the government. The source actually described it as a generous and almost fatherly gesture, which just shows how committed he is to making this whole thing work.
So let's pull back and look at what this all means for the future. It's clear their partnership is working right now, but what about the long term? Well, the conclusion drawn from the source material is both really simple and incredibly profound.
And this really is the ultimate takeaway. The biggest danger to this government isn't the political opposition. It's not foreign powers. It's not even public pressure. The single greatest threat is the possibility of a fallout between these two men. Their personal relationship is the bedrock holding up the entire structure.
The source uses this powerful metaphor to really drive the point home. It's not about an external enemy pushing them over. If this alliance fails, it's going to be because they tripped over their own feet. Their biggest enemy could be themselves.
And so that leaves us with the final critical question. We've seen how this totally unprecedented alliance of competitors turned complements was born and how it's functioning today. But looking forward, you have to ask, where will this journey, with these two men sharing the same car, ultimately lead the nation? The future is truly in their hands.